I'm a Naval War veteran. My name is Roy Harland. My affinity with the church began really as a result of my losing my father when we were in Bexhill. I suppose I was about 12 then. Of course, everything was new to me. New house, no friends, nothing. So I joined St Peter's Church Choir. Canon Rose, who was Vicar of Brighton, and Dr. Hector, Doctor of Music, he was the choir master. They took me, when they heard about me, they took me under their wing, and they looked after both my mother and myself, and I got a lot of confidence from them. All my teenagers, as a teenager, I stayed in the church, as I say, and I served on the altar and primary, because I found that as a safe haven, I had Dr. Hector around me and Canon Rose, and I was safe. Of course, what happened? Rumours of war, and the war came. I volunteered for the Navy, primary, because I didn't want to go in the army. I'd seen the film All Quiet on the Western Front, and I saw them in that mud. No, so I joined the Navy. On the 6th of January 1940, I had my call-up letters, a ticket to go from Brighton to Portsmouth, did the 14-day square bashing, mandatory to every serviceman, for 14 days. During those 14 days, it rained every day, and we still had to go on the parade ground, and I got soaking wet, obviously. Oh, I think it was on the Thursday after I'd been, I went to the sick bay and said I've got a sore throat. They went straight, sent me straight to Haura Hospital, where I was there for about 8 days, I think, joining my class, which had already started. It was a swimming. I had to do some swimming lessons. And I said to the instructor, I just come out of hospital, I can't go in there. He said, they passed you, you'll go in there. After almost 6 months, we were doing exams. The 3 of us were called out to go and see the commander. We were taken in one by one, and the commander said, this is the top secret new branch, and I'm going to ask for volunteers. Would you be interested? Then we went outside and we said, what do you think? We're going to get extra pay, we're going to have a 4 months leave straight away. Yes, we'll have this. And we did, we took it up. So I joined labourers' course. I passed, went back to RMB, waiting for an assignment to a ship or somewhere. And then we were taken, about 600, filled up one train from Portsmouth Harbour. We went all through the night, and we got in the early hours of the morning, when it was getting light. We got there, we were taken off the train onto the docks, and we looked at a big ship, great big ship when you're down there. And then we found it was the KG5, King George V. So they said what we've done is to open all the municipal buildings that we can, and we've asked people to give you accommodation as and when they can. Anyway, I think I went round 2 or 3 places, full up. Next day was a Sunday, and I went to church. I had to sit next to a lady, and after the service, she said, the vicar has been telling us that those of us who can would like to give accommodation to you. Would you be interested? I said, yes, please. Yes, she took us in, and I handed her the double rations, and I saw her eyes. Oh, now that lady took us in before she knew that she was going to get double rations. And I think that was a Christian, a very Christian to do that. We stayed there 8 days, having to report on the dockside at 8 o'clock every morning, and then off, get out. And on the 8th day, we mustered on the dock in the normal way, and they said, you can go on board now, we're going to take you back on board. From to Wallsend-on-Tyne, we went up to Rosyth. Now that's when I was seasick. I was seasick. It lasts, I don't know if you know, but there's normal time for seasickness. It's 2.5 days. And after 2.5 days, I began, what's that smell? That's nice. Seasickness passed over. Now at Rosyth, we did our first working up trials, and it was practice, practice, practice. But we know now the reason they practice so much is that you should be able to do it automatically. Whatever your circumstances, however you're down in the mouth or you have a wound, it becomes naturally to you to do that. We were delegated to go to America to take Lord Halifax, and we took him to New York. We have never since made as much speed from Liverpool to New York as we did then. We were like lightning. We weren't going to be torpedoed. Our first job, we were told we were going on convoy duty. We were on convoy duty for some time. And then we had the horrible one. We were told we were going to Murmansk, Russia. That was terrible. Oh, terrible. You were never warm. Your clothes was wet. You were wet. From the deck below to get to our cabin, which was on the upper deck, there were times when the ice was so bad we couldn't stand up, because don't forget, the sea was rough as well. We couldn't stand up, we had to crawl on our hands and knees to get to our radar cabinet. I've never witnessed anything like it in my life. An oil tanker was torpedoed. You would never seen anything like a tanker going up, or the sky lit up, and the sparks going all over the place. But the worst thing of all was, of course, the oil came out of the tanker and was lying on top of the water because it doesn't sink. And these merchantmen were diving into this burning oil to a certain death. It was horrible to see them do that. Why on earth they didn't stay on the ship? But I suppose it was instinct to jump over, leave the ship, jump over, but into burning oil. That was dreadful. I was taken off convoys, sent back to barracks, where I had a draft ship to Gibraltar. Got to Gibraltar, and I was drafted to HMS Malaya. And I said, what are we? They're doing Malta convoys. I said, oh, no, not again. And Malta convoys, it takes from Gibraltar to Malta was 3 days, and then 3 days back. And for 4 days, you had action stations all the time. Action stations mean that you were staying in by the side of the check all the time. You never went out. So what do you do about toilets? 2 buckets and disinfectant. I was off watch, and I happened to be looking out, and I saw the Yacht Royal. She was to our leeward side, and all of a sudden I saw her go list over to starboard. She had been torpedoed, and I lay claim to the only survivor living now who saw the demise of the Bismarck and also the sinking of the Yacht Royal. The Germans then didn't want supplies to go from Gibraltar to Malta. They're going to try and starve Malta. They'd stopped supplies coming from the other way, and they're going to stop it here. So they put U-boats right round Gibraltar Harbour, to the intent that no ship could go in, no ship could go out. And so we stuck there. All the captains were told they must keep the crew occupied. They made all sorts of things. They made people go march round the rocks. They had football matches, cricket matches, anything to keep them occupied. And the ships in the harbour had never looked cleaner and brighter than then. A message sent round to all ships asking for volunteers for a men's choir for the cathedral. All the men had to leave, and they joined up. So I volunteered at an audition, was accepted. Now that was a wish of mine that came true. And we were practicing Stainer's Crucifixion to sing on Good Friday. On the Thursday, that'd be Maundy Thursday, the U-boats were taken away. And of course all the ships could go out then. And so we were commanded to go to South Africa on Good Friday morning. But that's when we were going to sing Stainer's Crucifixion. The Navy won, I'm afraid. And so that was my disappointment again. I didn't sing the Stainer's Crucifixion in the cathedral. I was sent back to barracks, and then I was sent supposedly on a radar instructor's course to America, Asbury Park. When I got to Asbury Park, they said, "Oh, we've got 3 radar instructors already, but we want you as a liaison officer." And one of my duties was to see all the radar ratings installed in rooms. Then Asbury Park closed down because I had to mix with high-ranking American officers. They gave me a couple of stripes. I was sent back. Went to from Chesapeake Bay. I was sent to New York and then to Liverpool on an aircraft carrier. And the day afterwards, I think, Commander came to me. He said, "Will you come in and see me? I'll have to. You were only given those stripes while you were in America. I'll have to take them off." And he sent me as far away as possible from Portsmouth, sent me to Londonderry, and then I was sent down to Chatham, and I was demobbed at Chatham. As I was demobbed, I was asked to go on as a reservist. "You're a radar instructor, we need instructors, and you'll have to volunteer. Oh, I had to join the reserves. A few months after, 3 months after, I had a letter from the Minister of Defence calling me up to go to Australia. I just started then in my career in London. Fortunately, my principal knew the hierarchy in the Navy, and I showed him the letter. He said, "I can't have that. You've just started. I'm just working my business up and you're my key man." He did eventually get it squashed. In the meantime, my wife was crying her eyes out. So I came out of the Navy altogether. I walked out of the Chatham docks, thought, that's it. On the train back, there was another guy there, also had been demobbed, and we got talking, and he said, "Well, that's the end. Surely there can't be another war. This is really how we look at Armistice Day. You know, we must have armistice. We must have peace. Don't talk war. Don't think war." And then what happens? Ukraine. Yes, all I can say is that the war took my youth days away.